Hi guys, it's Big Mac Death Skull here with my first ever painting tutorial, and today I'm going to be painting a Death Skull Nob. As you can see in the video, I am using Dark Angel's Green as the base coat. I've used this colour because it's a colour I know my nephew has, and basically this tutorial is a step-by-step guide for him. You'll notice as well I've got water next to my palette. I'm using that to thin down the paint to make sure it doesn't go on too thick. Watering down your paint really helps give a nice even coverage and enables the paint to flow better when you're putting it onto the miniature, so it gets into the recesses a bit better. As I mentioned, this tutorial is for my nephew. He's just getting into the hobby. He's how old is he now? He's 8 years old? No, he's 9 years old. Yeah, he's 9 years old, and he's started playing Death Skull Orcs. He is just getting distracted by them blue tin men, them space marines. I think they're called ultramarines. So hopefully he won't get too distracted by them and he'll stick to the green side. So I will be covering some pretty basic stuff in this video, and it's going to be coming in a couple of parts, simply because the setup I have at home doesn't enable me to upload massive videos at the moment, unfortunately. So in order to keep the file size down, I'll be splitting it up into a couple of parts. So in this first part, I'm covering 3 colours in base coats. The first area is the flesh, which I'm doing now. Like I said, it's Caliban green. It's Dark Angel's green, which is the old name for Caliban green. And then I'll be moving on to blue. I use emerald blue, which again is an old colour. I'll point out the new name for that when I get there. And also some cloth I will be doing in tones of white, light grey and white. So yeah, this video is covering those 3 base coats. One thing you'll probably notice, guys, is that I've got the miniature stuck to the lid from a spray can. This is in order to basically make it easier to hold him. It enables me to manoeuvre him into different positions so I can get to different parts of the miniature under his arm and such, without necessarily touching the miniature, so I'm less likely to mess up areas I've already painted that way. So here comes the next colour, guys. It's emerald blue, as I said, which is now Calidor Sky. I'll be using this to put war paint on the miniature in different areas. Each miniature can have war paint painted on him differently. Again, I'll be thinning the paints down using water. Make sure my palette's nice and clean first. Get any dust off there. I tend to leave my stuff out when I'm not using it. So first just put a little bit of paint on the palette, then get your water, blob that in with your paint, and then it really helps to thin that down. Make sure it's nice and well mixed as well. Apologies if the miniature slides out of shot now and again. As I say, it's my first time doing this kind of painting tutorial. In terms of where the blue's going on the orc, I am putting it on his right hand holding the axe, and then I'll be putting it on the left hand side of his face. That's as he sees it, not as we see it. War paint for Death Skull Orcs is like blue's a lucky colour, so that's why they paint themselves blue quite often. at this stage as well, guys, it doesn't really matter if your paint's a little bit thin, simply because if you think about if you were going to paint yourself with war paint, you know, there's going to be some skin showing through there anyway in certain areas. So if there is a little bit of green showing through, then that looks even better in my opinion. Looks more realistic. Because I'm only painting half of his face blue, I want to make sure there's a nice neat line down the centre of his face there. I think I've done a fairly good job considering I'm not a great painter. So let's just take one last look at this guy now before we move on to the next colour. There we go, not bad. So the final paint I'm using in this part of the tutorial, guys, is Celestial Grey, and as I said earlier, I'm going to be painting the cloth of his shirt in this colour. It'll give it a nice solid base coat for then building on top of with other colours, lighter colours. I may decide to go a bit darker with it, but we'll deal with that in the next tutorial, guys. Remember, guys, just be as neat as you can when you're painting areas you've already painted. The area where his shirt meets his skin, I was quite conscious to try not to make a mess of anything there. In this early stage though, don't worry if you do make a mess. We've got plenty of time to correct any mistakes we make through the process of painting the miniature. You may be able to see in the top of the frame there as well, guys, I've got a egg box with all the paints in that I'm using for this project. I found it a really simple way of organising the paints and making sure I've got all the paints for this project in one place. Yeah, it's a Tesco value egg box. I think there's room for 15 eggs or 15 paints in total. So it's more than enough for the bulk of your simple projects. So yeah, just a quick little tip there for you. It's something I do that's something, you know, you may want to use in the future. Just approaching the end of this part of the tutorial, guys. I'll pop some pictures up at the end for you, just so you can see where we're up to with the miniature, but it's pretty self-explanatory, I'd say. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you've got any comments, criticisms, you know, constructive criticism preferably, just pop them in the comments section below the video. Cheers, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the battlefield.
The blue face is going to kill all the humans they find inside their tin cans.